In this problem, summation of I1 to infinity tan inverse 1 divided by 2I square is equal to t is given. We have to find the value of tan t. Okay, so this is a series problem. So can we write this term as tan inverse of summation I1 to infinity? 2I square can be written as 2 divided by 4I square. I have multiplied the numerator as well as denominator with 2. So now we have I1 to infinity tan inverse of 1 plus 4I square minus 1. Why I did 1 plus 4I square minus 1? Because we have to make tan inverse A minus tan inverse B. For that you have the formula tan inverse of A minus B upon 1 plus AB. You might be knowing this thing. Tan inverse A minus tan inverse of B can be written as tan inverse of A minus B upon 1 plus AB. So in the denominator you should have 1 plus something. Okay, so I have added 1 and subtracted 1. And in the numerator it is 2 only. So can I write now this term as I1 to infinity tan inverse of 1 plus 2I minus 1 into 2I plus 1, and the difference of these two terms are in the numerator. 2I plus 1 minus 2I minus 1 will give us 2. Okay, so now this will become a formula I1 to infinity tan inverse of 2I plus 1 minus tan inverse of 2I minus 1. Okay, now if this is f of r or f of I, this is f of r plus 1. Okay, because in place of I, let's write it as f of I. So this is f of I plus 1. Okay, so in place of I, if you place I plus 1, you will get the first term. Now this is this can be solved using Vn method. So infinity will go in the first term, which will give us tan inverse of 2 infinity plus 1. This will give us standing value. 1 will go in the last term, 2 into 1 minus 1. So tan inverse of infinity will give us pi by 2 minus pi by 4. So the answer for this problem will be pi by 4. But this is the value of the summation. Okay, you have to find the value of tan t. So the answer will be tan of pi by 4, which will give us value 1, which is integer only. Okay, so the answer for this problem is 1. In this problem, we have to find the positive integral solution of this equation tan inverse x plus cos inverse y under root 1 plus y square is equal to sin inverse 3 by root 10. Because x is also positive integral solution, and y is also positive, so we can easily convert all the terms into tan inverse. Like cos inverse can be easily converted into tan inverse. So we can write this term as tan inverse of x plus cos inverse can be written in terms of tan inverse using triangle. So I will just make a triangle with this side as y and this side as hypotenuse as under root 1 plus y square. So perpendicular will come out to be 1 using Pythagoras. So you will have tan inverse of 1 by y. Okay, now similarly sin inverse 3 by root 10 can also be converted into tan. So this will be 3 and this will be root 10, and this will be root of 10 minus 9, which will be 1. So this term will be equal to tan inverse of 3. Okay, so now let's simplify this term. So we will get tan inverse of x plus 1 by y upon 1 minus x by y. Okay, and this will be equal to tan inverse of 3. So now we have the relation xy plus 1 upon y minus x is equal to 3 by cancelling tan inverse from both the sides. So we have xy plus 1 is equal to 3y minus 3x. Okay, so let's take x on the left hand side. So we got x as x times of y plus 3 is equal to 3y minus 1. So x will give us 3y minus 1 upon y plus 3. Now we have to find both the x and y as positive integers. One thing you can do is you have all the options. You can just try and put them, or you can just go one by one with the values of y. So in this case we'll be just going with the options. First option with us is 2, 7 as ordered pair. So we'll put y as 7. Let's see what is the value. 21 minus 1 upon 7 plus 3. So this is giving us 2. So for y7 x is 2. So this is our solution already. Okay, it has more than 1, so we will check further. So we have now x as 2, y as 1. So if you put y as 1, you will get 2 by 4, which is half. And because we need integer value of x, so this is not the solution. Next is we have 3, 1. So in fact when you put y as 1, so the value of x coming out to be is 1 by 2. So this won't be solution again. For D part we have x1 y2. Okay, so we have the ordered pair 1 comma 2. So once you put y as 2, you will have 5 in the numerator, 5 in the denominator, and 1 will be the value of x. So obviously a comma d are the answer for this problem. Okay, so we have the solution for this problem as a and d. In this problem, we have to solve this inequality: greatest integer cot inverse x whole square minus 6 greatest integer cot inverse x plus 9 less than equal to 0. Okay, so let's consider cot inverse x greatest integer to be t. So our this inequality will become t square minus 6t plus 9 less than equal to 0. So this will give us value t minus 3 whole square less than equal to 0. So we will have the value as t equal to 3. Is this clear? T minus 3 whole square is less than equal to 0, so we will have the value of t equal to 3. So it means greatest integer of cot inverse x should be equal to 3. Okay, so now we have to draw the graph of cot inverse x, from where we can take the greatest integer of the function. We can easily see for what values of x the greatest integer of cot inverse x is 3. So the range of cot inverse x we already know is from 0 to pi. So I'll just be drawing the graph now, 0 to pi. So cot inverse x is a decreasing graph, so it goes like this. Okay, so it will be asymptotic here on the x-axis as well as at the equation y is equal to pi, which is a horizontal line parallel to x-axis. Okay, now for drawing the greatest integer of cot inverse x, what you do is you draw horizontal lines at integer points. So this is first line for us. Okay, the value here is pi by 2. Then you will draw at 2. Then you draw at 1. Once you draw horizontal line, then you have to draw vertical lines at point of intersection. So I have drawn vertical lines also. Okay, now you have to take the greatest integer. So once you take the greatest integer, this will be 3 here because the values are above 3. Okay, here you will have values as 2. At this point you will be having 2. Then here you have the value as 1. Okay, then here you will have values as 0. Okay, so this point is cot 1, this point is cot 2, this point is cot 3. So here you have values 3, you have values 2 here, you have values 1 here, you have value as 0 here. So for greatest integer cot inverse x to be 3, our x should belong to minus infinity to cot 3 close interval. So the answer for this inequality will be minus infinity to cot 3 close interval, which is option A. I hope it is clear. In this problem, it is given that if cos inverse x is equal to tan inverse x, we have to find the value of sine of cos inverse x. First thing which is quite important here is that we should write the domain of this equation. Okay, so the domain for the right hand side is x belongs to r, for the left hand side is from close interval minus 1 to 1. So we will get the domain of this equation as close interval minus 1 to 1. But there is one more catch. The principal value branch of cos inverse x is from close interval 0 to pi, and for tan inverse x is open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So it is understood that they have a common principal value branch in 0 to pi by 2 only. So that means we will now have to restrict our domain from close 0 to close 1. Okay, now we can check at 0 and 1 also, but I am just giving you the values from 0 to 1 only, because cos inverse x will give us the value from 0 to 1 in the first quadrant, where tan inverse x can be achievable, because tan inverse x lies between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. If cos inverse x has input negative, the output will go from pi by 2 to pi, which is not achievable in tan inverse x. Okay, so it is understood that x should lie between 0 to 1. Now for x lying between 0 to 1, what we will do is we will we have to calculate the value of sine of cos inverse x. So we will try to convert this cos inverse into sine inverse. So we can write this as cos inverse of x can be written as sine inverse of under root of 1 minus x square, because sine is outside, so the output is under root of 1 minus x square. Now the answer is in terms of x, which is not under root 1 minus x square. So we will be having one relation from this term also, which was given as cos inverse x is equal to tan inverse x. So let's try to convert cos inverse into tan inverse. So once you convert, you will have x as this and 1 as hypotenuse. So this term will be under root 1 minus x square. So we can write tan inverse of under root of 1 minus x square by x will be equal to tan inverse of x. Okay, so now we can eliminate tan inverse from both the sides. So we have under root of 1 minus x square as x square. So this value will give us the output as x square. Okay, so the answer for this problem will be option B. I hope it is clear. In this problem, we have to find the number of solution of the equation greatest integer sin inverse x is equal to x minus greatest integer x. Okay, so x minus greatest integer x, you might be knowing that this is equal to fraction x. Now if you see the domain of this particular equation, the domain will be closed interval minus 1 to 1, because sin inverse x has a domain of minus 1 to 1 closed interval and fraction x has a domain of x belongs to R. So if you take the intersection of these two, you will have the domain minus 1 to 1. So what we will do is we will draw the graph of these two function in closed interval minus 1 to 1. And because we have to find the number of solution, we will find the number of point of intersection of these two curves. Okay, so let's draw the graph of these two functions. For sin inverse x, we already know the domain is minus 1 to 1. So here I will draw minus 1, here I will draw 1. So here let's say we have pi by 2, and here let's say we have minus pi by 2. So we have an increasing graph of sin inverse x. So it will be going like this. Okay, now we have to take the greatest integer. So for greatest integer transformation, what you do is you draw horizontal line at integer points. So we'll be drawing horizontal line at integer points. Then at point of intersection, we'll be drawing vertical line. This point will be sin 1. Similarly, here we will be drawing horizontal line at integer point, let's say at minus 1. And then we will be drawing a vertical line here. This will be minus sin 1. Now what you have to do is you have to take the greatest integer. So now you have to take the gent of the function. So once you take the gent, here the values are from minus 1 to minus pi by 2. So the greatest integer will be minus 2. So here the value is minus 2. Then here you will have value minus 1 throughout this interval, because the values are between 0 and minus 1. Greatest integer will be minus 1. Here you will have value 0. Okay, so it will go till 0 at this point, sin 1. At sin 1 the value will be 1, because pi by 2 has greatest integer 1, so it will be like this. Okay, you got this thing? Okay, now we have to draw the graph of fraction x. So we already know the graph of fraction x, because you have this knowledge that sin x is always below y is equal to x. Y is equal to x is always above sin x, sorry. So y is equal to x is always above sin x, and tan x is above y is equal to x for x belonging to 0 to pi by 2. So if we take sin inverse x will be above y is equal to x. Is this clear? So if I am drawing the line of fraction x in close 0 to 1 open, so it will be y is equal to x only. So the graph of this line will go like this. This is the graph of y is equal to fraction x. Okay, so at 1 the value will come to 0, so it will have a open point here. So fraction x will go like this. It will be a straight line, y is equal to x, and from minus 1 to 0 also the fraction x is, because it is a periodic with period 1, so it will be a straight line having equation y is equal to x plus 1. Okay, so this is fraction x, here this is fraction x, but it will be open at x equal to 1, because the value at 1 fraction 1 is 0. Value of fraction 1 is 0. So now we have how many point of intersection? We have only one point of intersection at x equal to 0. So for this problem, the number of solution is x equal to 0 only, which is 1. So the answer for this problem is option B. I hope it is clear. In this problem, we have to find the number of solutions of the equation greatest integer tan inverse x plus greatest integer cot inverse x is equal to 2. Okay, so domain of this particular equation is x belongs to R. Now you can do this problem with two methods. First is you can draw the graph of greatest integer tan inverse x, greatest integer cot inverse x, and then you will add on different intervals and check out where the function is giving the output as 2, where the addition of these two functions give the output as 2. Okay, but for this particular equation you can also apply a simpler method to solve this problem, which is greatest integer of x plus y is always greater than equal to greatest integer x plus greatest integer y. So gent of x plus y is always greater than gent x plus gent y. This is a property. Okay. Now you can cross check it with putting the values of x and y. Let's say we will take some example. Say x is 1.1 and y is say 2.5. So on the left hand side you will have value of 3.6, greatest integer will be 3 and this will be 1 plus 2. Now if you take x as 1.1 and y as 2.9, so the left hand side will have a value of 4 but the right hand side will still have the value of 1 plus 2. So greatest integer of x plus y is always greater than equal to gent x plus gent y. Similarly I can say that greatest integer of tan inverse x plus cot inverse x will always be greater than equal to gent of tan inverse x plus gent of cot inverse x. Is this clear? So it means gent of tan inverse x plus gent of cot inverse x will always be less than equal to greatest integer of pi by 2, because we have the property that tan inverse x plus cot inverse x is pi by 2. So now we got gent of tan inverse x plus gent of cot inverse x will be less than equal to 1. So this term is always less than equal to 1. It can take the value as 1, it can take the value as 0, okay, but it cannot take the value as 2. So for this equation the number of solutions will be 0. So this, using this property you can solve this problem very easily. But suppose in the question you have greatest integer of tan inverse x plus greatest integer of cot inverse x as 1, then you cannot apply this method, because this method say that yes, you can have the summation is equal to 1. So for that you have to only draw the graph of these two functions and add, and then you will check in which interval the summation is going towards 1 or going equals to 1. I hope it is clear. In this problem we have to find the value of tan of sine inverse 2x upon 1 plus x square, okay, plus cos inverse 1 minus x square upon 1 plus x square for x greater than 1. Okay, so we already know the graph of these two functions. So if you remember the graph of these two functions, this problem will be quite easy for you. Otherwise you have to put the substitution that x is equal to tan theta. You can substitute x is equal to tan theta or tan inverse x is equal to theta. Accordingly you will get the values of theta and then you can solve this problem. So I'll be solving this problem with both the methods. First let's do it with the help of tan inverse x is equal to theta. So if I substitute tan inverse x as theta, we have x ranging from 1 to infinity. So tan inverse x will be having the value, because it is an increasing graph, so pi by 4 to pi by 2. Okay, so we can now have the term tan of sine inverse of sine 2 theta. I hope you know this formula, cos inverse of cos 2 theta. Okay, so because theta is from pi by 4 to pi by 2, so 2 theta will be from pi by 2 to pi. So for that, sine inverse sine 2 theta and cos inverse cos 2 theta, both the for this function sine inverse sine 2 theta is not in PVB, but for cos inverse cos 2 theta is in PVB. Okay, so for sine inverse of sine x, you already know the graph of the function is like this. Okay, so from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 you have the output as x. From pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2 the output is minus x plus pi, because this point is pi, so this line is pi plus x. So we will have the value of tan of pi plus 2 theta, pi minus 2 theta actually, this output is pi minus x. Okay, so we have, because this line is minus x, so this output is pi minus x, so the output will be pi minus 2 theta. So this will be pi minus 2 theta plus cos inverse, because 2 theta is in PVB, so this will be 2 theta. So we will be having the value as tan pi. So the answer for this problem will be 0. Okay, so the answer for this problem will be option A, which is 0. Now let's try to solve this problem with the help of a graph. So let's first draw the graph of sine inverse 2x upon 1 plus x square. We already have drawn this function, so you just have to revise that part. So the function goes like this. Okay, apart from ahead of 1 it is like this function. So this function is 2 theta from minus 1 to 1. This value is pi by 2, this value is minus pi by 2. Okay, ahead of 1 it is 2 theta minus 2 theta, which is pi minus 2 theta, and this is 2 theta minus 2 theta minus 2 theta minus pi. Okay, where 2 theta here is tan inverse x. Okay, so ahead of 1 it is pi minus 2 theta. We have to check the values ahead of 1 only, if you remember. So 1 minus 1, cos inverse has a simple graph. from 0 to pi. So you have the function cos inverse of 1 minus x square upon 1 plus x square. Okay, so the function is like this, if you remember. So this function is 2 theta and this function is minus 2 theta. Okay, 2 theta is, again here is 2 tan inverse x. So for x greater than 1, if you see, you have to add these two functions and you have to take tan of that. So sine inverse of 2x upon 1 plus x square is opening up in pi minus 2 tan inverse x. Okay, and this cos inverse is opening up in 2 tan inverse x. So again you will have the function as tan pi, the value of this term is 0. Okay, so again the answer for this problem will be option A. I hope it is clear. We have solved this problem with the help of x is equal to tan theta substitution also, and we have drawn the graph of sine inverse 2x upon 1 plus x square plus cos inverse 1 minus x square upon 1 plus x square, and then we have taken tan on the addition and we got the value of tan pi, which is 0. Okay, so the answer for this problem is option A. In this ITF equation, we have to find the positive solutions of x. Okay, so we'll just apply the formula, and once we have the values of x, we'll put them in the equation and cross check. So tan inverse of A plus tan inverse of B, you already know the formula. Tan inverse of 1 plus 2x plus 1, 1 upon 4x plus 1, 1 minus product of these two terms. Okay, this should be equal to tan inverse of 2 divided by x square. We can cancel tan inverse from both the sides. So we will have 4x plus 1 plus 2x plus 1 after LCM. Here we will be having 4x plus 1 into 2x plus 1 minus 1. So we will be having 2 divided by x square. So now we will have 6x plus 2 divided by, will be having 8x square plus 6x plus 1 minus 1. This should be equal to 2 divided by x square. So once we will cancel out 2 from the numerator, you will have 3x plus 1 upon 8x square plus 6x. This should be equal to 1 by x square. So now we will be left with the equation 3x cube plus x square is equal to 8x square plus 6x. So once you will cancel out, you will have 3x cube minus 7x square minus 6x is equal to 0. So either x will go common and 3x square minus 7x minus 6 will be left. So either x is equal to 0 or 3x square minus 3 6 is 18. So minus 9x plus 2x minus 6 is equal to 0. So you will be left with 3x plus 2 into x minus 3 is equal to 0. So x equal to 0 is not possible because it is not in the domain, because we have 2 plus x, 2 divided by x square is present, so x equal to 0 won't satisfy this equation. Secondly, we already need positive solution, so x should be greater than 0 is already given in the problem. So x equal to 0 won't be the answer. X is equal to minus 2 by 3 won't be the answer. So we are only left with the option x is equal to 3. So let's cross check whether x equal to 3 will satisfy this equation or not. So we have tan inverse of 1 by 7 plus tan inverse of 1 by 4x plus 1, which is tan inverse of 1 by 13. If you put 3 is equal to tan inverse of 2 by 9. So we have to cross check because we didn't use any conditions as such. So because this is positive and the product of these two terms is already less than 1, so we can directly apply the formula, that is tan inverse of 1 by 7 plus 1 by 13 divided by 1 minus 1 by 7 into 1 by 13. So let's see whether it is coming out to be tan inverse 2 by 9 or not. So once you add, you will get 20 in the numerator. In the denominator, you will have 91 minus 1. So it is coming out to be tan inverse of 20 by 19, which is 2 by 9, which is right hand side. And hence the answer for this problem will be x equal to 3. So let's see which option it is. We have to find the number of solutions. So the answer for this problem is option A, because we have to find number of solution. X equal to 3 is the only solution, and hence the number of solution is only 1. The positive number of solution is only 1. Hence the answer for this problem is option A. In this problem, tan inverse y is given as tan inverse x plus tan inverse 2x upon 1 minus x square, where mod x is less than 1 by root 3. Okay, so if mod x is less than 1 by root 3, it means we have x from minus 1 by root 3 to 1 by root 3. Okay, so we have to find the value of y in terms of x. So for that, let's consider tan inverse x as theta. So if I take tan inverse on this inequality, we will have increasing, tan inverse is increasing function, so tan inverse of minus 1 by root 3 is minus tan inverse 1 by root 3 to tan inverse 1 by root 3. We use the property that tan inverse of minus x is minus tan inverse x. So we have now tan inverse x from minus pi by 6 to pi by 6. Okay. So now we are left with the term tan inverse y. Tan inverse of y is equal to tan inverse of x, which is theta, plus tan inverse of 2x upon 1 minus x square will give us 2 tan theta upon 1 minus tan square theta, which is tan 2 theta. Okay, because theta is from minus pi by 6 to pi by 6. So 2 theta will be from minus pi by 3 to pi by 3, which is already in the principal value branch, minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So we will have tan inverse y is equal to theta plus 2 theta, which will give us 3 theta. So this term is actually 3 tan inverse x. Okay, so now we will have tan inverse y is equal to x is from minus 1 by root 3 to 1 by root 3. So this formula, if we apply tan inverse of this, will give us 3x minus x cube upon 1 minus 3x square, provided 1 minus 3x square should be 3x square should be less than 1, provided 3x square should be less than 1. 3x square should be less than 1, and this is true because x is already from minus 1 by root 3 to 1 by root 3. So if you take the whole square of that term, you will get from 0 to 1 by 3. Okay, so 3x square will lie between 0 to 1. So we can directly apply this formula. From that we can easily get the value of, if 3x square is greater than 1, then you have to add pi. So that's why I already checked whether 3x square is less than 1 or greater than 1. So y will be, we can cancel tan inverse, so y can directly be equated to 3x minus x cube upon 1 minus 3x square. So the answer for this problem will be 3x minus x cube upon 1 minus 3x square, which is option C. I hope it is clear. In this problem, a function f of x is given as cot inverse xk plus 4x plus alpha square minus alpha from R is the domain to codomain close 0 to pi by 2. And we have to find the set of values of alpha for which f of x is onto. So what do you mean by onto function? Onto function means that range of the function, range of f of x should be equal to codomain of f of x. Okay, so this is the definition of onto functions. So we have to make sure that cot inverse xk plus 4x plus alpha square minus alpha should have a range from 0 to pi by 2. So 0 open, pi by 2 close. Okay, now we already know that cot inverse x has a domain of x belongs to R, so we need not to worry about the inside term. We just have to make sure that the range is from open 0 to pi by 2 close. Now if you take cot on this interval, you already know cot is a decreasing function in 0 to pi and all other intervals. So if you take the cot of 0, you just have to interchange the inequality first, change the sign of the inequality. Cot of pi by 2 is 0 and cot of 0 is infinity. Okay, so we have to make sure that this parabola xk plus 4x plus alpha square minus alpha has a minimum value of 0. Its range should exactly be close 0 to infinity actually. Okay, so the minimum value should be 0 and range should exactly be from close 0 to infinity. Okay, for that, to make sure you have this parabola xk plus 4x plus alpha square minus alpha. So this parabola has a vertex at x coordinate minus b by 2a, which is minus 2. So this parabola can be like this. Can this parabola be like this? I should say like this, that it should be like this only, or it can be like this, or it can be like this. Which parabola you think is the suited for this particular function to have a range from 0 to infinity? Obviously this cannot be the answer because here the function has range above 0. Okay, so the value will be going from, say this point is say we can consider this as t1, so the range will be going from the y value of t1 to infinity, so it cannot be exactly from 0 to infinity and hence it won't be onto. Similarly, if the value is going from t2 to infinity, it won't be onto. Okay, so we know that precisely we need this particular function. Okay, so for that we have the minimum value of the function is 0. So we know that, let's consider this function as g of x. So g of x is x square plus 4x plus alpha square minus alpha. So g of minus 2 should be exactly equal to 0. So we have the term 4 minus 8 plus alpha square minus alpha should be equal to 0. So alpha square minus alpha minus 4 equal to 0 will give us the values of alpha. So by solving this quadratic, we get the value of alpha is minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac by 2a. So we have the value of alpha as 1 plus minus root 17 by 2. So there are only two values of alpha for which this function is onto, and hence the answer of this problem is option A. In this problem, we have to find the values of x for this particular inequality, sine inverse of sine 2xk plus 3 upon xk plus 1 less than equal to pi minus 5 by 2. So the biggest mistake you can do in this problem is that you will cancel this sine inverse with this sine. Okay, this is not true in this particular case because you have to check the value of this internal term. Sine inverse of sine theta open up in theta if and only if theta is in PVB. So you have to check the range of this particular function. Okay, so let's first try to check the range of 2xk plus 3 upon xk plus 1. I can write this term as 2 times of xk plus 1 upon xk plus 1. So this term will now become 2 plus 1 upon under root of xk plus 1. Is this clear? Okay. Now we already know the range of xk plus 1 is from 1 to infinity. So if you take the reciprocal of this term, you will have 1 upon xk plus 1. Reciprocal will change the sign of the inequality because it is a decreasing function. So the range will be from 0 to 1. So if you add 2 in this term, so you will have the range of 2 plus 1 by xk plus 1 from 2 to 3. Okay, so the range of this term is from 2 to 3. So it means this values are lying between from open 2 to 3, which are obviously greater than pi by 2 but less than pi. Okay, so the theta, if you consider this term as theta, so theta is from pi by 2 to pi. So we have to draw the graph of sine inverse sine theta from 0 pi by 2 pi. Okay, so from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, the function is theta only. If you draw the graph of sine inverse sine theta only, or sine inverse sine x, you can say. Okay, from pi by 2 to pi to 3 pi by 2, so the function is like this. Okay, so the output is minus x plus pi, so it will be pi minus theta. Is it clear? So for this particular function now, our equation will reduce to pi minus sine inverse of 2x, so the term was 2xk plus 3 upon xk plus 1. So it will, you got this thing that the theta is in the interval from 2 to 3, so theta is from this interval to this interval. Okay, so the output in this particular function, the output in this particular interval is pi minus theta. So we have opened this term as pi minus theta, which is already given to be less than pi minus 5 by 2. Now from both the sides, pi will cancel out. If you cancel out the pi, and if you multiply both the sides with -1, inequality will change. So you will have the term 2xk plus 3 upon xk plus 1 greater than or equal to 5 by 2. Because the terms are positive on both the sides, you can cross multiply. 4x square plus 6 is always greater than or equal to 5x square plus 5. So we will be having value x square less than or equal to 1. So we will be having the values of x from closed interval minus 1 to 1. So let's see which option it is. So we have the answer for this problem for this particular inequality is closed interval minus 1 to 1, which is option B. Okay, so the answer for this problem is option B. In this problem, we have to find the value of x satisfying this particular equation. Okay, so we can write this term as tan inverse of x minus 1 plus tan inverse of x plus 1. I'll just take this x on the right hand side, so it will become tan inverse 3x minus tan inverse x. Okay, so that applying formula would be easy for us. So if we apply now, we will get tan inverse of a plus b upon 1 minus ab, which is x minus 1 into x plus 1. Okay, so tan inverse of a minus b upon 1 plus ab. Okay, so now we will get tan inverse of 1 and 1 will cancel out. This will give us 2x upon 1 minus x square minus 1. So this will be 2 minus x square is equal to tan inverse of 2x upon 3x square plus 1. Okay, so we can cancel tan inverse from both the sides. So we will have 2x into 3x square plus 1 is equal to 2x into 2 minus x square. Okay, now if you take 2x common, you will have 3x square plus 1 plus x square minus 2 is equal to 0. So we will have 2x into 4x square minus 1 is equal to 0. So we will have the values x equal to 0, x equal to half, or x is equal to minus half. Now if you see the equation, because tan inverse x values are involved, okay, so the domain will be x belongs to R for each of the expression, for this expression also, for this expression also, for this expression also, and for this expression also. So we can easily say that all these three values will be satisfying this particular equation, but still you can put and cross check. So let's put one by one. If you put x equal to 0, we will have tan inverse of minus 1, which is minus pi by 4. This will be 0. Tan inverse of 1 will be pi by 4 is equal to 0. Tan inverse of 0 is 0. So x equal to 0 is satisfying this equation, and hence it is a solution. For x equal to half, we will have tan inverse of minus half plus tan inverse of half plus tan inverse of half plus 1 is 3 by 2. And on the right hand side is also tan inverse of 3 by 2. So we can easily see minus of tan inverse of minus x is minus tan inverse x, so it will cancel out, and x is equal to half will also be the solution of this particular equation. For x equal to minus half, we will have tan inverse of minus 3 by 2 plus tan inverse of half plus tan inverse of 3 by 2. Okay, we will have here tan inverse of, we have to put minus half actually, so minus 3 by 2, this will be minus tan inverse of minus half here. I'll just write it again, tan inverse of minus half plus tan inverse of 1 minus half will be half. Okay, on the right hand side we will be having tan inverse of minus 3 by 2. So again these two terms will cancel out, and it is also satisfying. So x equal to minus half is also satisfying this equation. So we have all these three solutions. So let's see which option it is. 0 is the solution, half is the solution, and minus half is the solution. So A, B, D are the answer of this problem. This problem we have to solve this inequality. 2 sin inverse x plus fractional part of cos inverse x is greater than pi by 2 plus fractional part of sin inverse x. Now I will write this term as sin inverse x plus sin inverse x minus pi by 2. I will just take pi by 2 on the left hand side, plus fraction of cos inverse x minus fraction of sin inverse x greater than 0. So I have taken all the terms on the right hand side to left hand side. Okay, so we already know that sin inverse x minus fractional part of sin inverse x is greatest integer of sin inverse x. Okay, plus we have sin inverse x minus pi by 2, so we can write this term as sin inverse x minus pi by 2 plus fractional part of cos inverse x is greater than 0. Okay, so now I can write this term as greatest integer of sin inverse x minus pi by 2 minus sin inverse x is cos inverse x. So if you take minus common, so you will be left with cos inverse x minus fractional part of cos inverse x. Okay, this is greater than 0. So cos inverse x minus fractional part of cos inverse x will give us greatest integer of sin inverse x minus greatest integer of cos inverse x greater than 0. Okay, so domain of both these function is from closed interval minus 1 to 1. So we can easily draw the graph and find out where sin inverse x greatest integer is greater than cos inverse x greatest integer. Okay, so let's draw graph of these two functions. So let's first draw the graph of sin inverse x. The domain is minus 1 to 1. So you already know the graph is like this. Okay, so at minus 1 the value is minus pi by 2, at 1 the value is pi by 2, at 0 it is 0. And graph of cos inverse x is from minus 1 to 1 again. So the graph of cos inverse x is like this. At 0 the output is pi by 2, at minus 1 the output is pi. So this is the graph of cos inverse x. Now you have to take the greatest integer of both the functions. So this value where these two intersect is 1 by root 2. Now you have to take the greatest integer. So for that what you do is you have to draw the integer lines. Let's first take the greatest integer of cos inverse x. So the value will be at 3 and this value will be cos 3. Okay, then we will have a horizontal line at 2. So this value will be cos 2, and then we will be having at 1 So this value will be cos 1. Okay. So now let's take the greatest integer of cos first. So here we will have the function as 3. Okay. Now from here to here we will have the function as 2. Okay. From here to here we will have a function as 1, and from cos 1 onwards we will have the function as 0. Okay. So this is the graph of greatest integer of cos inverse x. Now let's draw the graph of greatest integer of sin inverse x. So we have a blue curve of sin inverse x. So obviously here we will have to draw a line at -1, then there will be a line at 0, then there will be a line at 1. Okay. So at 1, if you see, we will have a intersection at this is already drawn at 1. So here we will have the value of sin 1. So once you take the greatest integer, here the greatest integer will be -2. Okay, this value is -2. Then from here to here the value is -1. Okay, then from here till here we have the value to be 0. So we will get the value to be 0 here till here, and then from here to here we have the value as 1. Okay, now we have to see the condition that greatest integer of sin inverse x is greater than greatest integer of cos inverse x. So if you see clearly, till cos 1 the graph of cos inverse x is already greater than gent of sin inverse x. Okay, and from cos 1 to sin 1, if you see, cos 1 to sin 1, both these functions are equal to 0. So from sin 1 to 1, so if you compare the interval sin 1 to 1 close interval, at sin 1 also, if you take the close interval at sin 1, the value of gent of sin inverse x is 1 and gent of cos inverse x is 0. So this is already greater than 0. Okay, before sin 1, if you see, both the functions are 0 and 0. So from sin 1 to 1, the values of the sin inverse x greatest integer is 1 always, and the values of greatest integer of cos inverse x is 0. So the answer for this problem will be close interval sin 1 to 1. Okay, which is option D, and hence the answer of this interval, this problem is option D. In this problem, summation of cos inverse of this term is given, and then you have to finally take the limit n tending to infinity. So what we will do is we will try to break this cos inverse term into cos inverse A minus cos inverse B, which will be becoming a Vn method type of series, and then we will have first term and last term balanced out, and then in the end we will take the limit. So let's try to break that. So I just wrote down this term. Now what I will do is, can I write this term as k2 to n cos inverse of 1 by k into 1 by k plus 1 plus, now I will be multiplying these two terms, k minus 1 into k plus 1 and k into k plus 2. So we will be having under root of k square minus 1 divided by k square into k square plus 2k divided by k plus 1 whole square. Okay, so this is our summation. Now this will become k2 to n cos inverse of 1 by k into 1 by k plus 1 plus under root of 1 minus 1 by k square, and this term can be written as 1 minus 1 by k plus 1 whole square. I hope you are clear on this thing, because if you take LCM, k plus 1 whole square will give us k square plus 2k plus 1 minus 1, which will give us k square plus 2k. Okay, so now we will have the term k2 to n. Now this became a formula. If you see, this formula is similar to cos inverse A into B plus under root of 1 minus A square into under root of 1 minus B square. Now this is the formula of cos inverse A minus cos inverse B, in which A is less than B. So you have to write this term as cos inverse of 1 by k plus 1 minus cos inverse of 1 by k, because in this case 1 by k plus 1 is lesser than 1 by k. Because cos inverse is also a decreasing function, so this term will be positive. As we already know, the cos inverse, this term will always have a range from 0 to pi close interval. That's why we have kept cos inverse 1 by k plus 1 ahead of cos inverse 1 by k. Now finally you will take, because this is a Vn method, if this is f of k, this is f of k plus 1, so your final result will be cos inverse of, result will be cos inverse of 1 by n plus 1 minus cos inverse of 1 by 2. Okay, now finally we have to take the limit n tending to infinity on this particular problem. So if you take the limit n tending to infinity, our expression will become cos inverse of 1 by n plus 1 minus cos inverse of half is pi by 3, because cos 60 is half. Okay, so cos inverse of 0 will become pi by 2, so it will give us pi by 2 minus pi by 3, so this term will give us pi by 6. So the answer for this problem will be pi by 6, which is option C. I hope it is clear. In this problem, alpha, beta and gamma are given in inverse trigonometric functions. We have to find the values of alpha, beta, gamma and then compare which of the options are correct. Okay, so let's start with alpha. Alpha is 2 tan inverse of under root of 3 minus 2 root 2 plus sine inverse of 1 by under root of 6 minus under root of 2. Okay, so can I write this term as 2 times of tan inverse of, in under root term I will write this term as root 2 whole square plus 1 whole square, because root 2 whole square will be 2, 2 plus 1 will be 3, so 3 can be written as 2 plus 1. Okay, minus 2 into root 2 into 1 plus sine inverse can be written as, if you take root 2 common, so you will have root 3 minus 1 balance, so you can multiply and divide with root 3 plus 1, so that the denominator can be rationalized. So now we will have alpha as tan inverse of root 2 minus 1. Okay, because this will become root 2 minus 1 whole square under root, which will give us mod of root 2 minus 1, which is already positive, plus sine inverse of root 3 plus 1 by 2 root 2. Okay, so root 2 minus 1 is a value of pi by 8, tan pi by 8, so this will become tan inverse of tan pi by 8, and this value will become sine inverse of sine 75 degrees, so it will be sine of 5 pi by 12. Okay, so both these values are in the PVB. Pi by 8 is in from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 open interval, 5 pi by 12 is also from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 close interval. So alpha will be 2 into pi by 8 plus 5 pi by 12. So we have pi by 4 plus 5 pi by 12. So once you take the LCM, you will have 8 pi by 12, which will give us 2 pi by 3 as the value of alpha. So the value of alpha is 2 pi by 3. Now let's move on to beta. Now beta is given as cot inverse of root 3 minus 2, cot inverse of root 3 minus 2 plus 1 by 8 times of secant inverse of minus 2. Okay, so because root 3 minus 2 is a negative value, so we can write this term as pi minus, or we can write this term as, you can write this term as pi minus cot inverse of 2 minus root 3 also, or you can write this term as pi by 2 minus tan inverse of root 3 minus 2. This is also okay, because tan inverse x plus cot inverse x is also pi by 2, plus 1 by 8 times of, we can write this term as cos inverse of minus half. So we have the value of beta as pi by 2 plus tan inverse of minus x is minus tan inverse x, so tan inverse of 2 minus root 3 plus 1 by 8 into cos inverse of minus half will give us the value of 2 pi by 3. Okay, so beta will be equal to pi by 2 plus tan inverse of 2 minus root 3 is the value of tan 15 degree, so it will be pi by 12, plus here we will have the value as pi by 12. So if you take the LCM as 12, you will have 6 pi plus pi plus pi, which will be 8 pi, so the value will be 2 pi by 3 again. So the value of beta is also 2 pi by 3. Now let's calculate the value of gamma, which is tan inverse 1 by root 2 plus cos inverse 1 by root 3. Let's convert cos inverse into tan inverse. So we have cos inverse 1 by root 3, so this value will be root 2. Okay, so we will have gamma as tan inverse of 1 by root 2 plus tan inverse of root 2. Okay, so tan inverse of 1 by root 2, because it is a positive value, so you can write this as cot inverse of root 2 plus tan inverse of root 2, and both these values are defined, and the sum will be equal to pi by 2. So we have now all the values of alpha, beta, gamma. Let's see which of the options are correct. So we have alpha is equal to 2 pi by 3, beta is equal to 2 pi by 3, and gamma is equal to pi by 2. So obviously option 1 is correct. Now alpha plus beta will be 4 pi by 3, and this is equal to 3 pi by 2, which is not correct. 4 into beta minus gamma. So 4 times of beta, which is 2 pi by 3 minus pi by 2. This will give us 4 times of 4 pi minus 3 pi, which is pi by 6, and this value is 2 pi by 3, which is same as alpha, and hence option C is correct. B is not equal to gamma, so D is incorrect. So the answer for this problem will be A comma C. Okay, so first and third options are correct, which is option A and C. I hope it is clear. In this problem, we have to find the number of solution of this equation. Cos inverse 1 minus x square upon 1 plus x square mod minus pi by 2 mod minus pi by 4 mod is equal to pi by 8. So there are two ways to do it. Either you open mod 1 by 1, okay, and then in the end you will be left with cos inverse 1 minus x square upon 1 plus x square. You already know the graph of that function, and then you can just draw the graph of that function and see how many values it can take. Otherwise you can draw the graph of the left hand side term, okay, and then see at how many values this is becoming equal to pi by 8. So I'll be going with the second method. So I'll be drawing the graph. So we already know the graph of cos inverse 1 minus x square upon 1 plus x square. We have drawn this thing. It lies between 0 to pi. The graph is like this. For x less than 0 it is minus 2 tan inverse x. For x greater than 0 it is 2 tan inverse x. Okay, so graph is like this. Now the next step will be you have to take the mod of this function. First you have drawn now this function. Let's consider this function as t. So you have drawn the graph of t. Now you have to take the mod of this. Once you take the mod of this function, what you have is you have to flip lower part into upper part, means all the values will become positive. So already the function is already positive, so there is no need to do it. Then you will be doing minus pi by 2. So once you will be doing minus pi by 2, the graph will go pi by 2 units downwards. So let's say we will have now the asymptotic nature of the graph going towards pi by 2, and this value will also go to 0, will go to minus pi by 2. So our graph will go downwards like this. Okay, so now this was our mod t graph. Now this was our graph of mod t minus pi by 2. Now you have to take the modulus of this function. Once you take the modulus again of this function, whole graph will go above x-axis. So once you take the modulus, now you will have the graph like this. Okay, this is going downwards, so this will go upwards like this. Okay, so you will be going like this. Let's first check out at which values this function is becoming equal to 0. So at x equal to 0, if we see, at x equal to 1, if we see, cos inverse of 0 is pi by 2. Yeah, so this value is 1 and minus 1, because if you see you put x equal to 1 here in the function, so you will have cos inverse of 0, which is pi by 2. So pi by 2 minus pi by 2 is 0. So at x equal to 1 and minus 1, this function is becoming 0. Okay, so the black graph we have drawn is the graph of mod of t minus pi by 2 whole mod. Okay, now what you have to do is you have to subtract pi by 4 from this particular function. So because you have to do pi by 4 subtraction first from this function, so this graph will be going pi by 4 downwards. So I'll be making it on another graph. So pi by 2 value will go to pi by 4. Okay, and this function will go downwards like this. At minus 1, this value will be minus pi by 4. Okay, and this pi by 2 will be going to pi by 4 as asymptotic. So this function will come like this. Okay, similarly on the other side, at 1 the function will go to minus pi by 4. So you will have a function like this, and then you will be having asymptote at y is equal to pi by 4. Okay, so this will be a horizontal asymptote. So function will be like this. Now again what you have to do is you have to take, now you have drawn which function? You have drawn mod of t minus pi by 2 modulus minus pi by 4. This is in the black. Okay, so you have to finally take one more mod. So our final graph for this particular function will be, you have to take one more mod. So the positive part will remain like this. This part will go upwards till pi by 4. Okay, this is having a concave shape, so it will be having convex shape upwards. So this will remain same, this will remain same. This is concave, it will go convex. Okay, this is convex, it will go concave, and this will be like this. Okay, so this maroon is the final graph of this particular function. Now you have to see at how many values this is becoming pi by 8. So pi by 8, for pi by 8 I'll be drawing a line at pi by 8. So this is pi by 8 value. So I have drawn a horizontal line at pi by 8. So let's see how many intersections are there. 1 intersection, 2 intersection, 3 intersection, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So overall there are 8 intersections for this particular case, and hence the answer for this problem will be 8. Okay, is it clear? Now let's look at the method 2 also. Let's consider t as cos inverse 1 minus x square upon 1 plus x square. So our equation will reduce to mod t minus pi by 2 minus pi by 4 whole mod equal to pi by 8. Okay. Now if we open up the mod, say we have this value, say x is equal to pi by 8, modulus of x is pi by 8. So x can take two values, pi by 8 and minus pi by 8. So I wrote pi by 8 as minus pi by 8 and pi by 8, open the mod. So this pi by 4 will go on the other side and get added. So it will become pi by 4 minus pi by 8, which is pi by 8, pi by 4 plus pi by 8, which is 3 pi by 8. Now mod t minus pi by 2 open up in pi by 8 and minus pi by 8. Mod t minus pi by 2 will open up in minus 3 pi by 8, comma 3 pi by 8. So now mod t will have a value of pi by 2 plus pi by 8, which is 5 pi by 8, pi by 2 minus pi by 8, which is 3 pi by 8. Pi by 2 minus 3 pi by 8, which is pi by 8, and pi by 2 plus 3 pi by 8, 7 pi by 8. Now finally we have mod t as 4 values of mod t. So we have drawn the graph of cos inverse 1 minus x square 1 plus x square as we have drawn above. So modulus of this function will be same as this function only, because there is nothing which is below x-axis. So the graph will remain same. So if you see the value are all these values which are written here, pi by 8, 3 pi by 8, 7 pi by 8, 5 pi by 8 are lying between 0 to pi. So if I draw these lines, say I am drawing the line at pi by 8, which will be roughly here. Okay, so it will give us two solutions, two values of x. Okay, similarly for 3 pi by 8, 3 pi by 8 will be above pi by 8. So this will also give me two more solutions. Okay, so 5 pi by 8 will be just above it. So this will again give me two more solutions, and 7 pi by 8 will also give me two more solutions. So finally, if you count the number of solutions for this particular equation, we will have how many solutions? 8 solutions. Okay, so from this particular method also, this method 2, we also got how many solutions? 8 solution, because each particular value is giving 2 solutions. So we have 4 values, and hence we have 8 solution. I hope it is clear. This problem is based on ITF series, so let's try to simplify it. I can write I as r0 to infinity tan inverse of r into r plus 1 whole factorial. Okay, this is factorial of r plus 1. Okay, and in the denominator we have r plus 1 plus r plus 1 factorial into r plus 1 factorial. Okay, now we will be trying to break it into a Vn kind of series, so that this problem will be solvable. So can I write this term as r0 to infinity tan inverse of, now I am dividing this term with r plus 1. Okay, because here I want to achieve 1, so I am dividing the whole term with r plus 1. So we will be having r into r factorial, okay, divided by 1 plus r plus 1 factorial into r factorial. I hope you got this thing, how I wrote this thing. Now the difference of, if in the denominator you remember the formula of tan inverse a minus tan inverse b, we have the formula of tan inverse a minus b upon 1 plus ab. So we already know this thing, that if this is term a, this is term b, so the difference should be in the numerator. So let's try to see. R plus 1 factorial minus r factorial will give us, r factorial will be common and r plus 1 will be balanced there. So it will be r factorial into r, which is present in the numerator. So we can write clearly this term as r0 to infinity tan inverse of r plus 1 factorial minus r factorial upon 1 plus r plus 1 factorial into r factorial. Okay, so now finally we will be having a term r0 to infinity. So we will be having a term r0 to infinity tan inverse of r plus 1 factorial minus tan inverse of r factorial. I hope it is clear. So it is now a Vn method. If this is f of r, this is our f of r plus 1. Okay, now we have to put values. So it will be tan inverse of infinity plus 1 factorial, okay, minus tan inverse of 0 factorial. You might be knowing infinity factorial will give us value infinity only. So tan inverse of infinity will tends to pi by 2. Tan inverse of 0 factorial will give us value of tan inverse 1 because 0 factorial is 1. Okay, so we will have a value of pi by 2 minus pi by 4. So this value will be equal to pi by 4. So now what we have to do is we have to just find this value only. So the answer for this problem is option B. I hope it is clear. In this problem we have to find the domain and range of this particular function cos inverse under root 1 minus x square minus sin inverse x. Because sin inverse x is present, so domain will either be closed minus 1 to 1 close, okay, minus 1 to 1 close interval, or it can be less than this also. So what we can do is, let's consider sin inverse x as theta, where x belongs to close interval minus 1 to 1. Okay, so we have considered this. So obviously theta will also lie between the interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, so now our expression will become under root of cos inverse of under root of 1 minus sin square theta minus theta. Now this expression will become cos inverse of mod cos theta. I hope it is clear, minus theta. Okay, now from theta minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 close interval is there. In minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, cos is always positive. If you know the graph of cos theta, it is always positive. Okay, so this mod will open up in cos inverse of cos theta minus theta. Okay, so this function will be now if we term it as f, so it will be under root of cos inverse of cos theta minus theta. Now we for the domain, what we need to do is we need to apply this condition that cos inverse of cos theta minus theta should be greater than or equal to 0. This is one condition, and after this we will try to see the range of this function. So we already know that we have the range of theta. We'll be drawing the graph of cos inverse cos theta. So we have the domain of theta from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 close interval only. From there the cos inverse is, this particular function is theta only. Here the function is minus theta. Okay, because we have to keep the range in 0 to pi. Okay, so from 0 to minus pi by 2 the output is minus theta, and from 0 to pi by 2 the output is theta. Okay, so if we check from minus pi by 2 to theta to 0, okay, the output is minus theta. So minus theta should be greater than or equal to 0, and theta minus 2 theta should be greater than or equal to 0. It means theta should be less than or equal to 0, which is holding true for this particular function. So theta should belong to minus pi by 2 to 0. This is true. Now for theta 0 to pi by 2, this is theta minus theta, which is greater than or equal to 0. So 0 greater than or equal to 0 is true statement. So theta will definitely belongs to 0 to pi by 2. So what we got to know is that this function is applicable for minus pi by 2 to theta to pi by 2. So it is taking all values of minus pi by 2 to theta to pi by 2. Now our theta was sin inverse x, so it means sin inverse x is from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So the domain of this function will be x. You have to take sign which is increasing. For minus 1 to 1 close interval, all these values are applicable. It means that for x belonging to close interval minus 1 to 1, cos inverse cos theta minus theta is always greater than or equal to 0, and hence this under root is defined. So the domain of this particular function will be close interval minus 1 to 1. This won't be the exact answer because it is not taking all the values of x. So from first and second, first is our correct answer. So option A is already correct. Now we have to check the range of this particular function. Now for range we have to find the values of f. So we'll be writing this as from minus pi by 2 to theta to 0, cos inverse of cos theta open up in minus theta, and this is also minus theta. So we have the values of minus 2 theta. Now minus 2 theta under root. So theta is from, our theta is from minus pi by 2 to 0. Now minus 2 theta will change the inequality, so it will be from 0 to pi. Is this clear? Okay, now you have to take the under root. So if you take the under root, you will have minus 2 theta under root will be from 0 to root pi. Okay, so for minus pi by 2 to theta to 0, the range is close 0 to root pi. Okay, now for this interval, let's see. For theta to 0 to pi by 2, we have cos inverse of cos theta will be theta. So this will be theta minus theta. So for this interval, the range is only 0. So here the range is 0 to root pi. Here the range is 0. So if you take the combination, or if you take the union of these two, we will have the answer as 0 to root pi. Okay, so let's see which option it is. 0 to root pi. So we have the range in option D, and option 3 is not the complete answer. So the answer for this problem will be option A and D. I hope it is clear. In this problem, we are given with the equation sin inverse ax plus cos inverse y plus cos inverse bxy is equal to pi by 2, and we have to match the column 1 with column 2. Column 1 is giving us the value of small a and small b. By putting that value in the equation, we will be able to reduce it into a equation or into a part of a curve. Okay, so let's try one by one. So first try the option A. The option A is small a is 1 and small b is 0, and we are provided with the equation sin inverse ax plus cos inverse y plus cos inverse of bxy is equal to pi by 2. So let's now put the value of a and b. So once you put the value of a and b, you will be left with sin inverse x plus cos inverse of y plus cos inverse of 0, which is equal to pi by 2. Cos inverse of 0 is pi by 2 only. So you are left with sin inverse x is equal to minus of cos inverse y. So we can write this term as sin inverse of x is equal to minus of cos inverse y can be written as sin inverse of under root of 1 minus y square. So we have this equation sin inverse of x is equal to sin inverse of minus under root of 1 minus y square. So we can cancel sin inverse from both the sides. So x is equal to minus under root of 1 minus y square. Okay, now we have this equation as this is a semicircle actually. So if you take whole squaring on both the sides, you are left with x square is equal to 1 minus y square. So x square plus y square is equal to 1 is the curve for which this is a part. Okay, so A is attached with, now A will be attached with P, which is the circle x square plus y square is equal to 1. Now moving on to the B part. In the B part, we are provided with small a 1, small b is also 1, and we had the equation of sin inverse of ax plus cos inverse of y plus cos inverse of bxy is equal to pi by 2. Okay, so again we will put the values here. So we will be left with sin inverse x plus cos inverse y plus cos inverse of xy is equal to pi by 2. Okay, so these two terms are in cos inverse. So let's convert this sin inverse x by taking into right hand side into cos inverse. So we'll be left with cos inverse y into xy minus under root of 1 minus y square under root of 1 minus x square y square. So this will be pi by 2 minus sin inverse x will give us cos inverse x. Now we will cancel cos inverse from both the sides. So we will be left with xy square minus x, and on the right hand side you will have under root 1 minus y square under root 1 minus x square y square. Okay, so now if you take squaring both sides, so we will be left with x square times of y square minus 1 whole square. On this side we will be left with 1 minus y square into 1 minus x square y square. Now let's take everything on the left hand side. So we will be left with x square into 1 minus y square whole square I can write, or I will take this term on the left hand side. So this will give me minus of 1 minus y square 1 minus x square y square is equal to 0. So from, because perfect square term is there, y square minus 1 whole square, so we can write this term as 1 minus y square whole square also. So if you see 1 minus y square is coming out common, so you are left with x square times of 1 minus y square minus of 1 minus x square y square. Okay, so you are left with the equation 1 minus y square. So if you open this term, you will be left with x square minus x square y square minus 1 plus x square y square. Now x square y square will cancel out, so we are left with the equation, you take negative common, so you will be left with y square minus 1 into x square minus 1 is equal to 0, which was given in option, this was given in option x square minus 1 into y square minus 1 is given in option Q. So B will be matched with Q. Is this clear? Now let's move on to C, which is A1 and B2. Okay, so let's move on to C part, for which A is 1 and B is 2, and we are given with the equation sin inverse of AX plus cos inverse of y plus cos inverse of bxy is equal to pi by 2. So let's try to put the values here. So we will get now sin inverse of x plus cos inverse of y plus cos inverse of 2xy is equal to pi by 2. Same like we did before, we will be doing cos inverse y plus cos inverse of 2xy. We will keep it on left hand side and we will make cos inverse x on right hand side. So you can just apply the formula now. Y times of 2xy minus under root of 1 minus y square under root of 1 minus 4x square y square. This is equal to cos inverse of x. So we can cancel cos inverse from both the sides. So we will be left with 2xy square minus under root of 1 minus y square into 1 minus 4x square y square, okay, is equal to x. So you can take the under root term on the right hand side. So you will be left with x times of 2y square minus 1. If we take squaring both sides, so we will be left with 1 minus y square into 1 minus 4x square y square, okay. So we will be finally having the term x square times of 4y square minus 4y square plus 1. So let's multiply 1 minus 4x square y square, okay, minus y square plus 4x square y4, okay. So we are left with the term 4x square y4 on the right hand side minus 4x square y square plus x square, and this will be 1 minus 4x square y square minus y square plus 4x square y4. Now terms are cancelling out, so these two terms will cancel out, and finally we will be left with x square plus y square is equal to 1. So for the C part we have the option as x square plus y square is equal to 1, which is again option P, okay. Now let's move on to A2 and B2, which is D part. So now let's put the value of A as 2. So we will be getting sin inverse of 2x, and B as 2. So cos inverse of y plus cos inverse of 2xy is equal to pi by 2, okay. So we will have the value cos inverse y plus cos inverse of 2xy is equal to cos inverse 2x. Now again we will apply the formula. So we have the formula cos inverse of y into 2xy minus under root of 1 minus y square under root of 1 minus 4x square y square. So this will be equal to cos inverse of 2x. Now we can cancel cos inverse from both the sides. So you are left with 2x times of y square minus 1 is equal to under root of 1 minus y square into under root of 1 minus 4x square y square. Now taking SBS, squaring both sides, so we will be getting 4x square times of y square minus 1 whole square, okay. So here we will have 1 minus y square and 1 minus 4x square y square, okay. So let's take y square minus 1 common. You can take this term on the left hand side. So you will have y square minus 1 whole square into 4x square. Let's write one more step. So if you take this term, it will be with the negative sign, but if you take the negative common from this term also, so you will be left with y square minus 1, okay. You will be taking this sign, this term with the negative sign, okay. So negative of this term, you can take positive and negative inside, so it will become y square minus 1 times of 1 minus 4x square y square is equal to 0. I hope it is clear. Now you have y square minus 1 common, so you will be left with 4x square y square minus 4x square plus 1 minus 4x square y square. So this is equal to 0. These two terms will cancel out. So now we will be left with y square minus 1 into 4x square minus 1 is equal to 0. So this was also given in the option. Let's see which option it is. So our D part is matching with S, okay. So the final solution for this problem is A is matching with P, B is matching with Q, C is matching with P, and D is matching with S. I hope it is clear.